Hey guys, welcome to episode 49. Currently at Mojave Airport, and I was already exploring the Cat 7 rating, but I noticed that that flight starts from Bernardino and then goes all the way to some other airport. So it is not a connected flight. So currently we're at Mojave, but we need to go to Bernardino first to do our Cat 7 rating. So today what we're going to do is we're going to fly from Mojave all the way down to Bernardino, from one Delta class airport to the next, using some VFR navigation, but also by night, which is something new, or really not something new, but I did some night flying in my first episodes here on the channel, but not recently. So it's going to be challenging, I guess, flying at night here. Also looking forward to see how ORBX lights up the cities and how we can use our navigation skills to maneuver to get from one airport to the next. So I hope you enjoy.
Welcome to the Uncertified Pilot. I'm Tim, and this is my flight simulator.
Hey Graffy, welcome on board. So, flight briefing wise, Mojave, as I just mentioned, we are currently here. I think we've got great weather. Usually, most of the time, north of this mountain stuff over here, there's always great weather. It prevents all the IMC stuff, potential IMC stuff coming from the ocean to get more inward inland. So usually north of this particular line, it's always good weather. But as you can see here in the LA area, it's not that bad either. There is some marginal VMC, and especially in case of our destination airport, Bernardino, also we got good weather. So that bodes a good prospect forecast when we look at the weather reports very, very soon. So we're currently at Mojave. Let's check the taxi diagram once more because I am unfamiliar with this airport. We obviously landed here in the previous episode, but it's good to rehearse our taxi instructions already. Where are we? Well, this is Mojave. As you can see, one big runway, 30 and 12. Usually the runway that is used, active runway, but in the last episode we were assigned 26 to land, which kind of like messed me up a bit, although I did come to a nice landing at 26 anyway. But still, we are currently located, I think, around there. And when we're gonna receive our taxi instructions based on the winds, I don't know the METARs just yet, but either way, we're gonna be assigned to taxi all the way down to this direction. And that's a long way to taxi. So the first thing that comes to mind when I see this particular taxi diagram is to perhaps request a intersection departure, because we don't need 12,000 feet. I can see that on the taxi plate already. As you can see, 12,500 feet. We don't need that much of a runway to take off. So what we could do is request an intersection departure. For example, at Juliet, or perhaps even at Charlie here. Might be enough for us to make that departure. We need about 900 feet in terms of a short field takeoff, but that's with additional flaps and, well, all the proper procedures. So I guess when we take half of this runway, thank you for hosting, Sniper. Thanks. And Xion, welcome on board. Thanks. I guess when we take half of this runway length, we'll still be at around 6,000 feet, so that would be plenty. So I guess when we depart at Charlie here, we can make our departure as well. If we are assigned 30, I don't know for sure. So what we could do is request taxi takeoff clearance, departure clearance through ground, and when they assign us 30, we can then add another announcement and say, well, could you make this and could you make that, turn that into a intersection departure for Charlie, for example? And they can acknowledge, confirm, allow us to do that, or reject that request. We'll see. Either way, hey Marco, welcome on board. It reduces our taxi time, which is always good. Okay, so that's Mojave. Clear that taxi diagram. Oh, get out of that annotation mode. Yeah, so anything else? Well, we don't have any ATIS. We've got AWAS here, which is not integrated in Prepared, unfortunately, so we cannot pick up local weather, but we can just use ForeFlight here to have a general idea what the winds and the clouds are doing. Tower, ground, no clearance delivery here. I'm also using flight following again to get into shape. Flight following is not something mandatory that we need to use, especially this is not a cat rating at all, but it's good practice to do so, because why not use that extra set of eyes if the controllers are not that busy today? And I guess they are not. We'll see. That's that. Back to our flight. So routing, I thought, especially at night, we cannot fully rely on visual cues. And also because we're flying here, that's also an additional concern using flight following. When we depart Mojave, as you can see here, Isabella MOA. Let me see if I can highlight it. Yeah, so within those lines you can see that's a MOA, which we are allowed to fly through as VFR pilots, but it's always good to be on flight following, because those guys on Joshua approach can let us know whether there is any military activity around us, which is always a very, very safe thing to do. So we depart. We got a restricted area, I guess the bluish stuff here to the right. That's a restricted area 2515. Let me see if that is active. R2515. Let me see, continuous, so all the time, it's always active, controlling a lip, and it's from surface and above. So yeah, this is a big training area associated with the Edwards Military Air Force base. So as you can see, when I fly inbound here to Palmdale, as I planned, this particular leg, it might not be a very safe thing to do, because we might just bump into that area, this bluish stuff here, which we should avoid. Even on flight following, it's restricted. I don't know if you can actually request clearance to go through that restricted area. Don't know for sure, but we shouldn't. So perhaps it's better to just follow south, I guess, fly to, what is this airport called? That bluish one, General Fox. We use that as a first direction, and then head to Palmdale, and then move on to the east, so that we stay clear from that restricted area. What we could use as a visual reference point, I don't know if you can see through all the labels, but there's a highway going south, right? Here. And also a railway. So that's one that we can use and will be specially visible at night, I hope, if there's no cloud or visibility stuff there. And we can spot the airport, General Fox, I presume, from the air. So that's good. And then once we reach that airport, then we make that left turn to Palmdale, VOR, already tuned that in. And then we fly all the way down to the east, keeping north of this mountain, of these mountains. Outbound radial, it's going to be 104. It's actually a Victor airway that we're going to use, 104, as you can see, outbound until Hespe, a fix here. So I thought then we should make a turn to the south to get to Bernardino over there. And obviously terrain is an issue here. So I thought, well, what we could do is there's a valley here, a highway here that crosses that mountain stuff. So that's a visual reference point. That's one. We could clearly see that highway, and it also gives us some leverage, some room, some space to cross that particular mountain ridge. So I thought we could follow that and eventually follow that whole entire highway all the way to San Bernardino. And probably from that point on, we can already spot Bernardino and request our inbound. Hey, new Chris, welcome on board. So that's going to be our flight. Based on radio navigation, based on visual reference points, but I would also like to once in a time use elapsed time. Somehow it just leaves my brain once I say it, and that's not a good thing. So for example, what we could do is check our time at the moment when we depart here from Mojave with each leg and expect a particular time that it was needed to take to complete that particular leg. So that's something that I will be particularly concerned with this flight, because it's really an important part of my flight planning phase, or flight planning in general. All right. Other stuff, airspaces, well, restricted, that restricted area, R2515, already talked about that. We got a non-towered airport there, nothing that is a concern to us. Well, first of all, General Fox here has a airspace up to 4,800, as you can see, 48. So that means we need to overfly that shelf in the time that we fly from Mojave up down south. So that's something that we need to be aware of. Otherwise, I think it might be more safe just to fly a little bit more to the west. So give us some time to get altitude, to gain altitude, and then make that turn. Which is nice. We'll see that Victor Airway here, that blue line. So what we could do, I guess, is set a radial for Palmdale VOR 118 heading, and once we catch that radial flying a little bit more to the west, we can catch that radial and fly inbound to Palmdale and get on track. That's the idea. But this is airspace that we need to be concerned of. We need to overfly that airspace or cross it and talk to tower. But I guess that's not a safe thing, or manageable thing to do. It is not really that necessary. Same goes for Palmdale, but at the time when we already overfly General Fox Airport, I guess here at 5,000, we would already be high up and could also easily overfly Palmdale. Also, these airports will be quite visible from the air. Again, visual reference points. So that's good. A lot of Victor Airways come together here on Palmdale, so we should at all times be very, very vigilant of traffic. Here on the PilotEdge network, and then we move all the way from Palmdale up to the east to Hespe. You can see a gray line here, so Military Airway 1257. Again, also relating to the previous episode, I should employ my perspective memory, right? So while I'm flying, not only be concerned with catching that radial, but be aware, situational aware of where I am in relation to my flight planning and also these airways. So I'm always on the lookout, even though I am on flight following. Especially here at Hespe when we're going to cross that airway. Then we go southbound. Well, then the next concern of airspace is obviously this Charlie airspace of Ontario International. Starts at 2,700, as you can see. Up to 5,000. Well, chances are we're already descending while we cross this mountain ridge from Hespe down south. So I guess it's good to already be below 2,700. By the way, also interesting, these altitudes from these airspaces are in MSL. METAR weather information is AGL. Just a note, at least a note to myself, that you should be aware, knowing whether it's AGL or MSL. So you could mistake saying, oh, 2,700. Well, that gives us plenty of room from the terrain up to the shelf, to this second shelf, to fly underneath it. But if the terrain would be already at 2,000, then you only have 700 feet to underfly, which is very unlikely. But still, MSL doesn't mean that you truly here in this case have 2,700 feet below that shelf, because the terrain is not accounted for. MSL, right? So it's something that to be aware of. Anyway, we should avoid that Charlie airspace. Although, because we are on flight following, in this case, talking with approach or with sender, those guys are really good buddies. So in that case, we don't even need to request a crossing or transition through that Charlie airspace, because we're already talking with ADC. We're already talking with approach. So even though we messed up and we should avoid that airspace anyway, because probably there's a lot of inbound and outbound traffic. But if we would somehow manage to cross that airspace, it wouldn't be that much of a problem. Perhaps the controller, the flight following controller, might say, hey, Papo Telting Mike, are you aware that you're crossing that airspace, right? And then we head to San Bernardino. Again, have a look at the airport, also especially the runway length. We've got ATIS there. Let me see. We got some remarks and comments. It's part of the airport facility directory, but it's much more segmented here, so I think it's more easy to read rather than the other page that I usually refer to. Let me see, anything that really concerns us. Runway 06 is the designated calm wind runway. Alright, so that's the other way around. So I was expecting the other runway actually 24, because usually the winds are coming from the ocean. But I guess 06 is the winds calm runway. So if there are no winds, that's the preferred runway. Okay, perhaps that has to do with the mountains on the other side there to the north, but don't know for sure. Continue, runway length, just to make sure, 10,000 feet. Plenty for a Cessna Skyhawk. Usually it's plenty, but it's good to make sure. Again, it's more easy to land on a short runway than taking off from one. So even though you are you have much more possibility, you could say, opportunity to land on very small length runways, chances are that if you land on such a runway, you don't have enough length to do your departure. And those cases are actually reported. There actually are some, actually read some news a long time ago in aviation reports where airports, where airplanes landed on a particular airport where they could just easily land on, but then when they decided to depart again, then noticed or discovered that the runway was not long enough for them to depart, and they got stuck there. So that's why it's very important to take runway length into consideration. But in terms of airspaces here, we are ready. So Charlie airspace, not a big concern because we're on flight following, but something that we need to look out for. We got a military airway here that we're going to cross during HESPE. Need to be concerned with that. As you can see here, the fuzzy magenta lines is echo airspace. Nothing that we need to nothing that we need to be concerned of. Only has to do with weather minimums, and well, we got really good weather. And the Palmdale Airport and the General Fox Delta class airspaces is something that we need to avoid. So that's particularly related to this first leg of the flight. Should give us enough time to climb, and we need to be remain clear of this restricted airspace, restricted 2515 airspace, which is active continuously. So we need to stick a little bit more to the west when we go southbound, stay to the west side of this highway until we reach General Fox and then turn over. Okay. Last thing that I did not do, let's take a look at the taxi diagram here. Again, guys, preparation is key for flying. I know this might be a little bit boring for any one of you watching on YouTube or here on Twitch. We're not flying anyway, but it's very important to well, pass on those CAR ratings or just make a successful flight. You guys, for Cat 7, don't you have to cross the class Charlie airspace, Tim? Well, we do, but this is not the Cat 7 flight. The Cat 7 flight starts from Bernardino, so this is just an intermediate flight when we fly from Mojave to Bernardino. So we are free to do whatever. But at the Cat 7, you're right. Then we need to depart from Bernardino up to the east, and then we need to cross Ontario's Charlie airspace, which is going to be interesting. Yeah. All right, Bernardino, one runway, very basic. It's not that complexing or perplexing as the Mojave airport during arrival, so that's good. Basic tower, 10,000 feet length, seems to be just fine. Although one thing that I'm not that familiar with is obviously we could just pick any place here in Flight Sim to park. We could park there, we could park there, we could park there, but I guess in the real world, we could not just park anywhere because perhaps there are some particular parts designated for bigger aircraft or so. And I'm not really aware of how to know where to park, to be honest, other than just picking an obvious spot. So I would suggest, but guys, let me know whether you're watching this on YouTube or here on Twitch. Pick an FBO, a fixed base operator, and that will be a place, I guess, where we should park our airplane. And now the route that we should take here on the runway, on the airport when we land, is not that much of a concern, I guess. But that would be a case. I also know there's an other chart. Let me see. Close. When I press the picture, I get a more abbreviated, simple one, and you only see the FBOs. So you see the FBO services, SBD, and Millionaire. You can also use those labels when you arrived at the airport and say to the controller, like to taxi to Millionaire or to FBO. So here, that FBO to the north is not designated as an FBO. So in that case, perhaps it's better or more appropriate, I don't know. Thank you for following, Harry, thanks. To taxi to that side, even though there's no FBO arrow there. So guys, let me know. I'd like to learn how to pick the right spot for us to park. I don't know what the considerations are. Let me know. Clear, clear, clear. Anyway, seems basic. One runway, and that's it. Elevation is 1,000 feet or 1,200 feet. So traffic pattern will be at 2,100, I suspect. But I guess it's also good to check because that's not always the case. As you can see here, you can see that on the top. I don't know if you guys can see, but you can see just below the title there, San Bernardino International Airport, you can see 1,100 feet MSL, that's the airport elevation, and the pattern altitude is at 1,900. So not 2,100, but 1,900, so 2,000 you could say. Not a big difference, but yeah, it's not exactly 1,000 feet AGL. Interesting. 2,000 feet. Okay. In terms of fuel, let me see. 10 gallons we just refueled, so that's enough. 84 nautical miles. Interesting. 46 minutes. Winds aloft includes 7 knot tailwind. Good. So that completes the navigation phase. Thank you, Veldudes. Thank you for hosting, man. Thanks, and thanks for watching, I hope. Also saw some videos, Veldudes flying, but it's a long time ago. I don't know. Still curious to see whether you are already on PilotEdge starting with your training. All right, so that completes the whole flight planning phase, excluding our weather. So let's do that. Imagery. Today's forecasts. Blah, blah, blah. Again. So not a lot of stuff going on in our area. That's good. Precipitation forecast, none in our area. We're currently at 19, or what was it, 2000 Zulu. This is 17 Zulu, so that's already a quite dated chart. As you can see, a lot of marginal VMC. Does not really confirm the METARs that we just saw, so that's interesting. But this is a little bit dated chart. So that's something that we need to remember. This is again an old chart, 1500 Zulu. So let's pick the next one. It's more current, 1800 Zulu. And as you can see, the only air mat that is here designated is that is presented here is IFR or fog on the ocean, as usual here in the California area. So that is good, doesn't concern us. No SIGMETs active, so no thunderstorms or that kind of stuff. Ceilings, this is for 1800 Zulu. Well, you can see there is some cloud going on stuff, but mainly at the LA area. And that would be around 6,000 feet-ish. Perfect, that's VMC. And this is at 2100 Zulu. That concerns our flight. And as you can see, that ceiling is actually already moving onto the direction of the ocean. Let me see. Satellite imagery. Well, not that much of a deal, but infrared, as you can see, not really thick clouds. The more thicker clouds are up to the north around Bakersfield. So that is good. Visibility wise, 1800 Zulu, so that's an hour ago. Well, not that great visibility, at least around the LA area. So that might also be the Bernardino area. Around 6 miles, still VMC, but good to know. What is it doing visibility? Well, around 2100 Zulu, you can see the visibility has actually improved as usual as the day progresses. So that's good. Winds. We're not talked about how high we're going to fly. I expect when we go to the east again, we should pick odd even numbers or odd numbered cruising altitudes. I mean, so again, 7,500 would be a good altitude, but we need to check that. So 3,000 feet is not really a good one. 6,000 feet might be a good one, but you can see a lot of confusing wind directions and they are not that strong. let's go to 9,000. Well, it's coming from the ocean again, around 15 knots. But we already noticed here on ForeFlight, we got a tailwind, which is good. But it's nice to see a general picture of what the winds are actually doing. No turbulence sigmats, good. So this is not interesting. No icing sigmats, also good. And when we go up to 13,000 feet, we might encounter freezing levels. Interesting to combine with clouds, because if you have moist and freezing levels, you got chances of icing. So that's why I included this freezing level chart, even though we're not flying on cruising altitudes of 13,000 feet. Hey Alex, welcome on board. So that's interesting. Completed our weather briefing, so that is good. Cruising altitude once more. Let's check to make sure there's no terrain issues here. 7,500. What is the elevation here? Because we're already elevated, right? 4,000. What's the airport elevation of Mojave? 2,800. Right. So 7,500 might seem high up, but you need to subtract around 3,000 feet, which is still plenty of altitude, but it's good to know. We stay clear of these mountains, so 7,500 might still be good. Also, these big numbers, which you can see 10, 4, depict the highest number, the highest altitude or obstacle. I don't know if it's an obstacle, but I guess the terrain within these rectangular sections. So somewhere there's a point that is around 10,400. Well, as you can see over. Yeah, guys, I know the ruler is not a great thing to point things out. I cannot annotate on this chart, but there you can see 10,000 is a very large, high San Antonio mountaintop there. Anyhow, so this is good. Hespe is good. Then we got 5,000 feet here, 5,000 on the other side, but there we're already descending. So I guess 7,500 is a good altitude. Also, in terms of airspace, we need to overfly these Delta class airspaces. Good. That completes our flight planning. Awesome. All right. So that means that we can start with flying. There we are. Completely dark. So this is again something where X-Plane is better than Prepared or FSX because you got great light effects. You can actually enable a flashlight that follows your mouse pointer, and you can very easily see your instruments even in the dark, which really gives a nice sense of immersion here and realism. But here on Prepared, that's not possible, unfortunately. So it's very hard to spot the buttons here while we do our checks. In real life, you would actually have a flashlight that you can use, or as we could do, turn on the batteries here and the lights. I don't know if I have those configured here on my panel. Let me see. Panel lights? Yeah, I did. Awesome. So now the floodlights here on the top are on. I don't know where. Oh, there, the back one, which gives a nice light. But remember, the battery is now is not charging, discharging, right? Very subtly, but it is. So we need to keep a pace on. So here we are at Mojave on the ramp ready to go. So first, reset cabin. Control wheel lock removed. Parking brakes are set. Fire extinguisher, let's pretend it's in the green. We don't need any oxygen or life vest stuff. Doors closed, windows are closed. ELT is set to auto. Cabin air is open. Good. Flaps are up and they are up. Very good. Levers are in sync here with my Saitek. The trim, it is working. Fuel tanks set to both. Our cutoff is not cut off. Static air, alternate static air is in. Good. Then we move up. Transponder is off. This stuff is on. We're going to check that soon. Circuit breakers are all off. And this is all set as well. Avionics are off. Good. That is our reset cabin. Let's remove the pitot tube cover. Bloop. And our wheel chocks. Bloom. There they are. And we can start with the internal checks. First, flight control test. So to the right, that one goes down, that one goes up all the way, that one goes down, and that one goes up. Then the elevators, barely see, but they work, go up. Then the trim tab, can I see? Yep, it's working, good. And then the rudder, and it's working as well. Very good. Then we can check the systems. So what we're going to do is first turn on all the lights, landing lights, sexy lights, strobe lights, nav lights, and the pitot tube. Let's go outside. Yep, here, and let's have a look. Taxi lights, landing lights are working, obvious because we saw that from the cockpit. Position lights work, strobe lights are on, also on the other wingtip. They are. Beacon light is on and the position lights working as well. Good. Then the stall horn. And I also like to have a feel of the pitot tube. And it's warm as well. Awesome. All right. Landing lights, all the stuff off except for our beacon light. And the pitot tube heat, that's off. We move on. So then the, let me keep on TrackIR here. Avionics, good. That is on. Full illumination here. We move on to the right. Flaps down. Fully down. Let's see if they go down in sync. Looks good. And they go fully down. Great. We move up. Let's go to standby mode. Not test mode, but also standby mode to see. Yeah, so VFR is already preset. That's good. Back off. This stuff we're going to tune very soon. Com radio off. Annunciator messages. They work. Currently have an oil pressure, low vacuum and volts. Obvious because our engine is off. This stuff is all set. We got enough fuel at looking at the gauge, so that's good. Circuit breakers are still in, very good. Avionics off, batteries off. Again, in the dark. Now let's do the exterior walk around in the dark. Don't know if we can see anything, but let's pretend that we can. Pitot tube is unobstructed. Oh, baggage door. That one is now locked, very good. Tie down is removed. Oh, this is hard to see. Is all connected, very good. This stuff is good. Connecting rod is over there. Connected. Trim tab, wiggle, works. Flaps, wiggle, works. Very good, it's connected. Wingtip ailerons. Looks good, very nice. Tie down is removed. Wear and tear, well, there's nothing. I don't think if that is dynamic here on the aircraft model. At least that's what I am expecting. But it seems like, well, proper inflation and conditions are and condition is met. Fuel sump, good color, no water in it. Fuel tank, enough gallons, confirms the fuel gauge. Oil, enough and good color. Hard to see though in the dark. No contamination, good color. Prop. Looks good. Intakes clear, at least that's a little bit of a guess, but yeah, I think so. Static air is clear. Other wing tank, it is full, confirms our gauge, good color, no contamination. Wear and tear seems to be good, good inflation. Tie down is removed. Fuel vent here is clear, unobstructed. Ailerons looks good. And finally that wiggle of the flaps on the other side, and they are connected as well. That control arm seems to be right in place. Awesome. 8 AM night flight tonight. Then are you doing Cat 7? No, Sniper, I'm not. I need to go to Bernardino first to do my cat rating. So somehow in this particular cat rating, the flights are not connected, or the airport's not connected. So we first need to go from Mojave to Bernardino, which is going to be awesome. And by night. Challenging though. That completes our exterior walk around, guys. All right, so there we are. No need to visit the maintenance hangar. Let's turn on our seatbelts, even physically here. Ha ha ha. Never gets boring. All right. Then the door. And there we are. So then next up is going to be our flight planning, a briefing, a review. So Bernardino. Delta class, going to ask for flight following. We're going to depart. Need to stick to the west side of this highway when we depart to give us time or to prevent that we're going to fly into this restricted area of Edwards Base. And we go all the way to General Fox here. And we set our nav1 frequencies that we're going to do soon when the engine is on to fly, well, the inverse of 298. So that's going to be about a 120 heading. And once that needle locks into the center, we make that turn and fly inbound to Palmdale. Again, the airports are visual reference points. We should be higher than 4,800 feet to fly above that airspace shell. and then go all the way to the east on the north side of that terrain. So that's good, although once we reach Hespe, we need to be very careful of this military air route, 1257. Although while we're still on flight following, we need to be responsible, look outside and see whether we have clear, that we are clear of traffic. At Hespe, I hope I can see this highway and then move down to the south and then follow the highway until we see Bernardino and go inbound. Again, Charlie airspace, we should avoid that. Although we are on flight following, we can easily already, without requesting any transition, just cross that, but it's better to not do that, because as you can see here, these pictures here, oh, it's not moving with us. Okay, that's weird. Let me see if I can let me see if I can fix that, guys. Or perhaps I should just do that on my iPad. Turn off, and let's move there, and then turn on Airserver again, and then head back again. No, somehow I'm disconnected. That's weird. Let me wait, guys, because I'd like you to see the iPad with the charts, because that's very educational, I think. Exit Airserver. It's gone. All right. What is my? Yeah, my iPad is also disconnected, obviously. Then reconnect Airserver. It's now running. iPad doesn't recognize Airserver just yet. There it is. It's now on. No. There's some kind of TCP port blocked. That's a new one. Let me try just one more time, guys. Turn off. And turn off Wi-Fi. Let's turn off Airserver. Let's see if it's really off. Exit it. Okay, iPad Wi-Fi is off. Then turn on Airserver once more. Hey Felix, welcome on board. Yeah, my seat is great. It's so comfortable. Still not used to it, and I hope it still feels fresh and new for a very long time. It's great. Airserver is on. Now Wi-Fi of my iPad on. And reconnect. Yeah, it works. Don't know what happened there, but somehow it didn't work. ForeFlight. Yeah, I don't care. Right. So what I was saying very briefly. So we got airspace over there. We got those airports. 4,800 is that shelf. So in the first leg, we need to climb and to get high enough to fly over that airspace. Same goes for Palmdale. So that's something that we need to be concerned with. Also to stay to the west side of this highway so we don't fly into this restricted area. Then we go all the way to the east, and then at Hespe you got that military airway that we need to be very careful of because we want to cross that to the south, and then we head to Bernardino. On fly following, we can easily cross this Charlie airspace, but I guess that's not a good thing to do because, and that's what I'd like to show you, this particular icon on the sectional shows that this is a airway of a SID or a star or whatever, a an inbound or an outbound traffic route where you can expect a lot of traffic. So and that's usually where those Charlie airspaces are designed for. So it's always good to stay out of them if you don't need to cross those. So that's what we're going to do. Stay up north here, follow that highway up to Bernardino. Okay, 7,500, and that's going to be our briefing. All right. And then we can do our final checks here. Lights here. Let's turn also our nav lights on already, but they don't work because our battery is off. Batteries on, avionics are off. Fuel tanks are set to both. Parking brakes released, and see whether our brakes are working. They seem to work. Parking brakes reset again. All right, and circuit breakers are still in. Okay, we can start with our engine. Start. Throttle in. Oh, no, not the avionics. Fuel pump. 1, 2, 3. Cut off. And fuel pump off. Throttle is already in. Parking brakes are set. Door is closed. No one is in the front. All right, hand on the mixture. Other hand on the switch. Heater switch. And there we go. Clear prop. Full mixture. Oh, 1200 RPM. Oil pressure is slowly coming up within 30 seconds, so that's good. Generator on, avionics on, flaps up. Very good, and they go up. Transponder, mode C, already know that's going to be on VFR. And let's turn on our virtual headphones. That makes sense. Okie doke. Then let's tune the radios here. First off, what I'm going to do is set the comm radios. And what do we have? We have ground 123.9. Let's set it to the COM1 standby 123.9. Gonna set that already. And we got tower 127.6.
012 Charlie Delta, did you not copy anything of that clearance?
123.9, 127.0, yeah, 127.6, that's right. Also on the sectional.
Okay, so you got what's after the SID, or
127.6, okay. And AWAS doesn't work on prepared, so we just say that we have the weather when we sign in, okay. Palmdale, VOR, 114.5, NAV1, 114.5, switch to active, good. And what radial we're going to set in? Well,
012 Charlie Delta,
120.
Truck in 1 departure, grid fill transition, thin as filed,
120. Is it set?
Flight level 3,
because I don't have a reading there. 114.5.
Departure frequency 135.
Palmdale is 114.5. We don't have a reading yet, which kind of surprises me actually, because we're not that far away, right? 26 nautical miles. Well, we're on the ground, so perhaps when we are airborne, we might get a reading. But currently, we don't have. Let's 114.5. Yes. Can we make a plan B there? Because we need radio navigation. What we could also do is set in Lake Hughes here and fly this one. It's very close to the mountains, though, but it might be an alternative solution. That's going to be Lake Hughes 108.4 nav2, 108.4 set the active, and that's going to be a, what was it, a inbound of, or let's say 8.5. We do have a reading of Lake Hughes, 8.5. Well, that's already set, 8.5. Okay, just in case we don't get a reading on the nav1. Always make sure that you are accounting for everything. Fish and chips, welcome on board.
Alpha, ready at runway 06.
Okay, that's the nav stuff. Frequencies are set. Flight following warning request soon. ATIS we don't have here. Airport elevation. We could just set the airport elevation and we get the right altimeter setting. What was it? Mojave was at 2,801.
Quebec
2,800.
Contact Bakersfield approach.
Cool.
135. Correction 118.
Alrighty,
Again, 118.
that's frequencies. Altimeter is set. I'm going to expect 30. Going to request a intersection departure here.
Duke 2 and Alpha Tango contact circle approach 134.
Everything is in the green. Oh, that's what I missed, guys, in my flow. As you can see, RPM is still high up. That's not a good thing. So what I should have done is not to be that hasty in the first place, but first lean for ground. Something like this, and then reset for 1,000. Not a big thing. As you can see, the oil temperature is now already in the green because at a higher RPM the engine gets hotter much more quicker. But still, this is a better sound.
Just crossed over Los Angeles. You can proceed, of course, the Los Angeles
Alright, set the clock to our elapsed time mode, and there we are, guys. Okie doke. Very quick look
Quebec, Lima, Bakersfield approach, you check in.
At the taxi diagram. So we are somewhere around there. 3 zeros to the right of us there, as you can see. So I'm expecting that 30, and we can request an intersection departure from Charlie, or the tower might just assign us to go to 26. But either way, this is going to be the chart.
No 172 Whiskey Alpha San Bernardino Tower, runway 6 clear for takeoff.
And ground was 123.9, right? 123.9, yes. And again, we are on what ramp?
And I think someone was calling about the San Luis.
This would be, yeah, this would be the west ramp, I guess. Don't know how to refer to this particular ramp, but there's this is the only one. Let's say the west ramp. Scratch pad in the ready. Mojave ground, Sky Papa Tango Mike on the west ramp with the weather VFR request. Then Papa Tango Mike is a Cessna Skyhawk 172 Slant Alpha with the weather requesting flight following to Bernardino at 7,500.
Southeast about with Delta full stop.
Chieftain 1 Mike Zulu. San Luis Tower, make sure to runway 29 and report 3 mile final.
Straight in 29, we'll report 3 miles, 1 Mike Zulu.
Similar clearance, Big 707 Charlie Prepar please.
Duke 2 and Alpha Tango is going to maintain 4,000.
Mojave ground, Skyhawk Papa Hotel Tango India Mike is on the west ramp with the weather with the VFR request.
Okay, calling with the weather with VFR request. Go ahead.
Papa Tango Mike is a Cessna Skyhawk Slant Alpha with the weather. We'd like to go to Bernardino at 7,500 with flight following, if that's available. Let's see.
You're under 35 Quebec Lima. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. Flying drill. It's San Bernardino.
935 Quebec Lima.
Hoping that Bernardino makes sense.
Report midfield.
Otherwise, we'll hear.
No, 935 Quebec Lima. Enter left base, runway 30 right. I'll get you switched to the tower shortly.
Give us a instruction. Engine is already in the warm.
Duke 1 Alpha Tango contact circle approach 134.2. Papa Hotel Tango India Mike say aircraft type, departure frequency 124.55, squawk 3402.
Papa Hotel Tango Mike is a Cessna Skyhawk, departure frequency 124.55 and squawk 3402.
Sky Papa Hotel Tango India Mike read back correct.
Alright, let's...
Duke 2 1 Alpha Tango
that's
circle
departure.
approach altimeter 30.
I'm going to set that at the run-up and squawk 3.
And advise you have
Four,
request to reduce speed to
0, 2. Thank you for following, Dege. Welcome on board. 3402. That's set. And we've got our clearance, 7,500. Good. So now we're ready to taxi.
I had 449 or something like that. I didn't catch the call signs again.
Thank you for your ground, Saratoga 54901. Request VFR departure.
What is 124.55? What kind of departure? Didn't note whether that is Joshua approach or forgot already. Let's have a quick look. We'll have a tower approach. Does it say here? It's, yeah, communications, departure.
54901, standby.
But that's not a good frequency that confirms with ours.
Tower, November 1 Mike 03 miles.
Does anyone know? What was the kind of departure that we need to sign into?
Runway 8 localizer.
Perhaps we'll hear. I don't see it here on the airport diagram.
172 Whiskey Alpha, contact SoCal departure.
SoCal departure to Whiskey Alpha.
Level 1 Mike Tango, correction, or 1 Mike
Can we see it on the sectional perhaps?
Alpha, runway 29, clear to land, wind 2805.
No. Departure
Clear to
frequency
land
was
and,
125.
SoCal
I guess we're
1
gonna receive that
Level 1 Mike Zulu.
at the before the run up, I think. We'll see. Oh yeah, the floodlights, good one. Let me see, we can also turn on some other fancy lights here in the cockpit.
Sir 161 Juliet Whiskey towards ground, you're on request number 2.
That one, and then the panel lights
2 on Alpha Tango, slight, we overshot the localizer there, probably didn't turn you soon enough. You're 1.5 miles from Silex, fly heading 100,
Nice.
and maintain 4,000 until establish the localizer, clear ILS runway 8 approach. There 172 Whiskey Alpha, SoCal departure, radar contact, maintain VFR, Ontario altimeter 3006.
Mojave Ground, Skyhawk, Papa Hotel Tango, India Mike is ready to taxi for a southbound departure.
Papa Hotel Tango, India Mike Mojave Ground, runway 26, taxi via Charlie. Hold short, runway 30, contact tower.
Taxi to runway 26, hold short at Charlie for 30, and then we'll contact tower. Papa Hotel Tango Mike.
Air 54901, you're with Bakersfield
Interesting.
Tower. Make your request.
Makes sense though. So what we are assigned to do, Mojave Airport Taxiway. So let's get rid of this stuff. Clear. Boom. Clear, I said. Clear annotations. Thanks. So we are currently there. Charlie, whoop, and there we gonna cross that runway. And runway areas are part of tower. So then we need to request the transition or cross through 0. And I guess we'll then stay to tower and then taxi to Charlie and then 26. Interesting. Nice. Something new. All right. Taxi lights on. Nice.
No, I did not.
Parking brakes released.
Sears 161 Juliet Whiskey.
Brakes
clear to
test
Santa
work.
Monica Airport. On departure, fly runway heading until
Charlie is here to the front of us.
The Los Angeles 170 radial to Limbo.
No traffic there.
Victor 64 to the Santa Monica.
Slip indicator, turn indicator, heading indicator, attitude indicator. Good.
VOR direct. Maintain 3,000.
There we go. Set the heading block to 26 for our departure.
Departure frequency 134.9er, squawk 66.
And Charlie was parallel to 26, so that confirms our taxi direction. Good. And tower frequency was 127.6, and that's set. Okay. Nice, guys.
Expect 4,000. I think you said 4 minutes after. Departure frequency 134.9, squawk 6662.
And again, on X-Plane, the light effects are so much more pretty. Also, just the light effects in general, just the airports and stuff. That's something that I really miss. Looking forward to X-Plane 11 though. Don't know if I'm going to switch, I don't think so. I still love A2A. And this level of realism of the Cessna and also the clouds and that stuff really benefits my PPL training. So this is Charlie. And here is going to be the runway very, very soon. Always in reddish. It's over there.
Here's one Juliet Whiskey, be back correct.
Still on Charlie there.
Alpha Tango, contact Burbank Tower 118.7.
Runway clearance, Skyhawk 361.
Still no reading.
Skyhawk 5, Quebec Lima, contact Bakersfield Tower 118.1.
So here we're going to cross at Charlie. So here's where we're going to hold short and go to tower and say, hey, here we are at Charlie.
Burbank Tower,
30.
good afternoon, Duke 2 and Alpha Tango's on the ILS Ada Bridge.
Sky 3610.
There we are.
Clearance, your
We're set to 1000 RPM. Keep the engine warm, although it's still very warm.
Tower, wind 1108.
Switch to tower.
Runway 8, clear to land.
Runway 8, clear to land, Wind Alpha Tango.
November 1 Mike Zulu is clear at clear of 29 at Charlie.
Level 1 Mike Zulu, taxi to Park via Alpha this frequency. Have a great day.
Alpha this frequency, Roger.
Mojave Tower, Sky Papatel Tango, and your mic is holding short at Charlie 30 to cross.
Papa Hotel Tango, India Mojave Tower. Cross runway 30 at Charlie. Wind 25012, gust 18. All course approved, runway 26, clear for takeoff.
We're cross 30 at Charlie and cleared for takeoff runway 26, Papatel Tango mic. Interesting.
Clearance of X707 Charlie.
Interesting stuff. So even though we're not at 26, holding short, we're already getting clearance. Interesting. So no one on the runway as far as I can see.
Tower, Skyhawk Diner 35, Quebec Lima.
No one here on final.
Diner 35, Quebec Lima.
Still, get a speed going here. Get us quick off this runway.
Wind 603.
Clear to land for runway
Clear skies.
30 right, 935.
Oh yeah, I already checked the METARs
Before
before the stream, and I already know that there was clear skies. Didn't cover that in the episode, but I knew what the METARs were, even though we couldn't sign into or listen to AWAS here on Prepare.
VFR departure at flight advisory to Mojave and 9500 with Whiskey.
Now, even though we're cleared for takeoff,
so took a 5491.
I'm still going to do my run-up, and I guess in the real world I would say to control to the tower, like, hey, I'm still need to have a few minutes though. Perhaps the tower is expecting me to do a to expedite my departure here because of traffic flow, but I don't think there's any other traffic here around. But if I would take several minutes to do my run-up, then that would be something that the tower should know.
3610 Echo West Ramp, information November.
Dege, I will answer your question after departure.
Sky 3610 Echo clear to Gent Long Beach Airport.
Here we are at Charlie
26.
Beach
direct. Maintain 2000, expect 3000. Was there minutes after departure?
Okay, engine is warm, mixture full in.
Departure frequency 128.1, squawk 7, friction, squawk 2.
1800, looks good, everything is stable, left mag, good, back to both, right mag, good, back to both, landing lights on off, we see that dip in the M-meter, idle, good, everything stable, no annunciator messages, nice how the lights intensity reacts on our power setting, right? So we're set to 1000, you can see, interesting. That's realism for you. Trim is set, flaps are up.
Saratoga 5491.
Good, landing lights on, strobe lights on, taxi lights off. There we go, depart 500 feet AGL, so that's going to be 3,300. That's going to be our departure altitude, where we're going to fly a heading or an altitude, which we are not given. So we're just free to fly our southbound departure and get that climb going. Here we are. Mixture full in, lights are on. There we go, guys. Night flight. Engine is still in the green. Airspeed is alive. Track that center line. 40.
707 Charlie Papa clear to Burbank Airport.
More right, rudder 50.
Heading radar vector center. Victor 186.
60. Rotate.
Fillmore.
Nice.
Fernando 6 arrival. Maintain 3000. Expect
there we go.
minutes after departure.
Keep that nose a bit more down to allow that airspeed to increase to around 80, 75 VY. Those are the hangars.
Victor 9060 for Morgan, Commander 611. Climb maintain 3000, expect 9000, departure 12055, 167.
Good. A little bit more nose down trim.
Charlie Papa, read back correct.
Burbank Tower, do 2 and off tangos on the Bravo, parking at
So we're
Millionaire.
almost at that 500 feet AGL point,
Duke 2 1 Alpha Tango, taxi to Millionaire via Bravo.
and that would
tax will be
allow us to make that
3.
turn to the south.
Taxi 2
There we
parking,
go.
via Bravo, this frequency, and thanks for the pass 2 and off tango.
Small turn.
Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, contact Joshua departure.
Contacting Joshua departure for Papa Hotel Tango Mike.
Correct 5 Quebec Lima.
Joshua
contact
departure, it is.
Taxi to
124. I didn't set my
Have a great
frequencies,
day.
guys. 124.55. Did the
935
same mistake
Quebec
again.
Lima, Parking.
Man, this is dark. So let's not fly entirely to the south. Stick to the west side, right?
Sky 935 Quebec Lima. It's the pass for the Cat 5.
Oh,
Okay, Joshua,
man.
Good luck on the next one.
Joshua approach. Skyhawk Papa Hotel Tango India Mike is climbing through 4,000 for 7,500.
Papa Hotel Tango India Mike Joshua departure. Radar contact. Maintain VFR. Palmdale altimeter 3008.
Remain VFR 3008 for the altimeter. Papa Hotel Tango Mike.
AVIC 707 Charlie.
And
Papa,
that
7
kind of
425,
confirms
taxi
our
Bravo,
reading here.
Alpha Golf.
Remain VFR. Man, this is dark.
0161 Juliet Whiskey, Torrance Ground, Roaming 29 right, taxi Alpha Juliet.
Seems more like IFR to me.
And
Still haven't got a
calling
reading of
for
Palmdale.
taxi again.
Let me check my map. I'm not trusting.
Sky
Why?
3610 Echo,
Palmdale,
Charlie Ground,
114.5. Yeah, it's
Bravo,
good.
Kilo. Sky
Oh.
172 with the Alpha, contact SoCal approach 126.7.
Keep that climb going. Let's reset to climb setting. So fuel flow, if you guys can see, yeah, you can see. In the green, there it is. Because we're already at 5,000 MSL, the air's thin enough so we can start our leaning. Can hear the engine sound improve.
Sierra 549R1, Bakersfield Tower, and course approved 160 at 3.
Ah, we got a reading.
Right,
F1. Finally. Good. Still, it was a good call to get that nav2 for the...
Whiskey Alpha, contact SoCal approach 126.7.
for that plan B. Still have my landing lights on. Well, we could switch those off. There we are in the dark. My gosh, nighttime flying is really something different. I'd like to go a little bit faster. Still, let's lean a bit more. Oh, Tim, come on. Stay level.
Skunk 172 Whiskey Alpha, SoCal approach Palm Springs altimeter 29er 8.
Gonna fly a little bit more to the south here. Keep that nose down, Tim. It's already flown a bit to the west, so that's good. That restricted area is to the left of us right now. All right. EGT is nicely high. Perhaps we can lean a little bit more. Nose down, trim a bit to get a steady climb. I'm really pushing on that yoke right now, which is not good. 5,500, still climbing. Good. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good tip, fish and chips. Yeah, so what I could have done, if I didn't have a reading of the Palmdale VOR just yet, is to enable the ident sound warning. And then once we get a reading, we get that Morse code. Good one. Good tip. Thanks.
Epic 7 Charlie Papa, contact departure.
So I'm also turning a little bit to the south here. Because on the map, you know, we've got some mountains to the west side, so we don't need to venture too much to the west.
Epic 707 Charlie Papa, SoCal departure.
Just like to catch that highway here. It should be visible.
Reaching 3000, turn left.
To the left of us. See some city lights there. Still, we need to rely on our instruments here, obviously. Got that radial set, that's confirmed, makes sense. Got a reading, 2 reading. And we are flying straight onto that needle.
3610 Echo John Wayne Tower,
6,000 feet MSL, altimeter is set. AGT is nicely high up, perhaps a little bit more rich. Or less rich, I see. So lean a bit more. Engine is still in the green. Good. Alright, there was a question. Let me see, guys. What is the biggest difference between the Cessna 172 and the Cessna 182? Dege? Well, first of the sound set. Just the entire sound set of the A2A 172 is, I think it's much more pretty than the 182, even though I guess the sound set of the 182 is spot on. But in terms of aircraft performance, I think that's what you mean. Well, the 182 is a beast. It's the big brother, right, of the 172. So it's a much steeper climb rate. Also has a bigger dashboard. Also has some additional gauges. For example, the cylinder head temperature, which is nice, something that the Cessna Skyhawk doesn't have. Also has a prop lever, which I have here on the Saitek panel here physically, but it's not virtually there in the Cessna Skyhawk. So it's a more complex airplane as well.
I call in for the Cat 10 request, say the cost sign.
And especially for long-haul flights, I guess it's the airplane of choice. But I like the 172 because I like this whole training dimension to flying here. That's why I reverted or turned to the 172. Airspeed is a bit low. Need to be 80 plus here, even though we're on the climb. So it's a little bit more power also.
Okay,
Looking at the fuel flow gauge, we should be at the top of that.
The departure frequency will be with Hawthorne Tower 121.
Sounds better. 7,000 feet, almost at our cruising altitude. Going south. Needle is still inactive. And with this angle, going right to the south, got some traffic by the way there on our 11 o'clock. Oh, that's too much nose up. Watch that airspeed. With this angle flying right onto that leg, chances are that that needle will swap instantly from right to left. So
Skag 084 readback is correct, and just to confirm, you are Skyhawk, right? 172. Thank you. Epic 707 Charlie Flight, contact Los Angeles Center 135.5 and confirm you're climbing to 8,000.
Alrighty. Oh. Airport to the left.
And someone was calling for clearance, I believe. Say again.
And what airport might that be? I see one runway.
Skag 10 Echo, contact SoCal departure.
So that's going to be General Fox, I think, which confirms our flight path. Nice. And we're high up to cross that airspace, which is good. Higher than at 4,800. So that needle will come in very, very soon. 7,500 feet. Push on that yoke. Allow that airspeed to increase around 100. And once it is there, we can reset. Oh no, descending there, but needle is creeping in, as you can see. 100 knots, so let's reduce throttle or RPM to around 2100 or 2200. Might be a nice sound of the engine. Good.
Skag 361 Echo SoCal
And
Archer,
now I'm
radar
going to
contact,
relieve
runway
my
23,000,
forward yoke
safe
push
approach from the Long
with
Beach
the
airport.
trim. Good. Needle is slowly creeping in, so not that fast as expected.
Skag 10 Echo Roger, you want that from Seal Beach?
City lights in front of us, and there's another airport.
Roger, stand by. We're 707 Charlie Papa, Los Angeles Center. Turn left.
That's weird. That's a bit weird, I guess.
Direct center.
And that's to the
climb
south.
90,000.
That's to the south. Blah, blah, blah. If that was General Fox, then that airport should be Whiteman, but that's
Skag 10
seems
Echo,
very
turn right,
far
direct Seal
away.
Beach, cross Seal Beach at
Or it is
we're
Palmdale.
above 2,000. Cleared VOR.
But it doesn't
runway
really... Yeah, that does make
30,
sense.
approach,
No,
report
that doesn't
procedure
make
7,000.
sense. I don't know what that airport is. Or it is Aqua Dulce? No. Still, we got radio navigation here. Neil is coming in. Let's verify the frequency.
Papa Hotel Tango into my contacts. Joshua Approach 126.1.
To Joshua Approach 126.1 for Papa Tatsumi Mike.
Skag 2 Whiskey Alpha, contact Los Angeles Center.
126.1, there's the needle. Making that turn to the left. Oh, need to stay on altitude there. Come on, climb, climb, Tim. Joshua Approach, Sky Papatel Tango, India Mike on 7,200 for 7,500. Come on.
Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, Joshua Approach, good morning.
Good morning.
Skag 172 Whiskey Alpha, Los Angeles Center.
Oh, there goes
Pulse
power.
altimeter 2998.
I'm overflying my leg, my needle there. Doing two things at the same time.
United 414, go ahead and read
Come on,
back.
focus. 120. That's the heading. Need to climb there. A little bit more power. Come on. We can do this. Overfly that turn so we can catch that needle once more.
United 414.
And that's Palmdale. It was Palmdale. Keep that climb going, Tim. Good. Engine is in the green still. Okay, 500 feet per minute. Airspeed is decreasing a bit, which makes sense because we are climbing, but need to make sure that we stay 80 plus. There's 7,500. Nose down.
United 414, if I didn't say, your readback is correct.
Good. There goes the speed again. 7,500 inbound for that leg, or this needle. Slowly creeping in, and then we're going to turn to 120. Cool. Hey, just Alex, welcome on board. Sorry, missed you there. Am I the only one that sees a black screen? I think that's a joke, right? Or is the stream going bad here? Flying drill. Tim, if you can't see the horizon, you cannot legally be VFR, as you are flying on instruments to remain level. Alright, didn't know that. But you can fly with, as a VFR pilot, right, on by night. And in those times you cannot see your horizon, you can only see some city lights, I presume. Interesting to know about that. So if you cannot see a horizon, then you're not VFR? Can anyone confirm on that?
Sky 108 Echo Sierra, John clearance, on departure, flight heading 330. Maintain VFR.
Nice flying, guys. Interesting by night. It's so much more challenging.
Departure frequency 128.1, squawk 3073.
Hey Kimo, welcome on board. The flight's going well, but it's challenging because it's nighttime.
3073.
Oh, sniper, you're right. Fuck. Timing.
Correct.
I should time my legs. Forgot about that again.
Skag 10 Echo traffic passing off your 9 o'clock.
All right. We'll do that, I guess, when we make that next turn. But then we're already at Bernardino. Well, we can infer our position, perhaps. There's a highway to the right of us there at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And there's a other highway or road here to the left. Also some traffic to the left at 10 o'clock. Let's have a quick look at the chat, or at the map.
Ground. Runway 25 right, taxi via Charlie 6, Bravo.
Don't know what that road is. That road is going to the south, obviously, right? Yeah, and it has a bend in it, and we got an airport in front of us. No, it's a road in front of us and some buildings. Still climbing a bit too much, by the way.
Wind variable 4, runway 29 right, clear for takeoff.
Down with that nose, down. Still we're on that leg, which is good. 6 nautical miles from we are on top of Palmdale. Goes down, Tim, a little bit to the right. Although that doesn't make sense because the needle will just turn away from us because we're that near to the VOR. And then we're gonna continue our outbound radial toward 120. But that means that we are currently or almost on top of Palmdale. And I actually thought that we already passed it because of that airport that we saw. But that was a mistake. So I guess then that will be Palmdale. I've got 2 runways there. Yeah, Palmdale has 2. Let me check. Or 3 it has. Let me check again. Yeah, I guess that's Palmdale. Yeah, and that makes sense too because you can see that road here going to the south. That is that road with that bend in it. Okay, confirmed. Come on, Tim.
Source 161 Juliet Whiskey Squawk altitude contact SoCal departure.
Okay, staying at 7,500. That needle is moving away. It's still indicating 2 because we're 3 nautical miles from the Palmdale VOR. Sticking to 120 until that goes to from, and then we continue that outbound radial 120.
Wind variable 4, runway 29 right.
Engine is still stable. Good. Flying drill, once you have cities, it's okay. You are in VMC, but it's debatable whether you are able to really fly under VFR. If you had instrument failures, what would you do? Yeah, that's true. And with city lights even, flying drill, it is also hard to keep level, I guess, without a without instruments. And I guess that's also a good measure, right? Whether you are legally able to fly as a VFR pilot. If all your instruments go out, are you still able to
161 Juliet Whiskey, you're still with Tower, and you just
to stay level?
Please, I'm showing you standby.
And I think I cannot. Well, perhaps a bit, but
108 Echo.
There's Palmdale, the runway.
20 Kilo,
Let's make a very small gentle turn here to the right to have a peek down. Yeah. Awesome. One nautical mile, Palmdale, as you can see on the DME. So we should get that from reading very, very soon. Also, you can see that other radial from, what was it, Lake Hughes is also creeping in. Ah, from reading. Stick to 7,500. Interesting. A little bit more nose down trim here.
Sky Conservatory 4, keep your squawk code and frequency change approved.
So now I'm expecting that that needle will slowly creep in again. It's going to be challenging. Oh, that's too much nose down, Tim. Come on. I'm a little bit, or a little bit.
Skype 13084
I'm
Tower.
ballooning all over the
south
place.
of Hawthorne Airport, establish
Ballooning.
en route
I'm just
MTB
not
bar
paying attention.
2500. Remain outside Los Angeles Bomber airspace at all times. Hawthorne altimeter 3005.
Come on.
There's 161 Julie Whiskey SoCal departure. I'm still showing you on
Chemo. In many
standby.
countries, VFR flight at night is not permitted. Oh, okay.
But if it's in,
But also in the
Microsoft
Netherlands?
or
Do you know?
Prepared, if you go to the start menu on your PilotEdge client and select under the transponder, select norm for normal, that should turn you on. Otherwise, if you're in X-plane, you should be able to select the mode of your transponder from the cockpit.
City lights. Interesting.
Gotcha.
Man, I forgot about the clock again.
I'm sorry, say again?
Should used elapsed time.
Okay, I made a mistake. I asked 3 people to call in at the same time. Standby. Number 54901, contact Josh approach 124.55.
Come on,
Epic
trim that
707
baby.
Charlie Papa, contact circle approach 134.2.
Good. Now, Needle, 5 nautical miles away from Palmdale.
Contact Dell Long Beach Tower 119.4. There are 2 Whiskey Alpha.
Perhaps we should
See,
go a little bit to the
Valley
right there and
Airport,
try to
switch
catch
12
that needle.
5.5 miles, radar services terminate, squawk V5, frequency change route.
Also, we could tune in the ATIS already from Bernardino while we're flying this stuff. Whoop. Always think ahead. Hespe is over there. So when are we at Hespe? Well, when we are 37 nautical miles away from Palmdale. Oh, keep that
Hotel
air.
Tango India, Mike disregard. No 54901, Joshua Bridge, Palmdale altimeter 3008.
Whoop. Still level. Going a little bit to the right there to catch that needle. Okay. Okay. Where was I?
3084,
Yeah, 37 nautical miles. So obviously we still have a long way to go. But that's going to be our point where we need to spot that highway and go southbound to Bernardino. And what I would like to do was ATIS. Bernardino 124.175. Come to.
About 3084, yeah.
124. And that's 175.
Radar contact cleared through Los Angeles Bravo airspace via the
17.
route, maintain VFR 2500, altimeter 3005.
Come on.
There's 160.
Plane has a tendency to fly to the left.
Say again.
Kilo, Sierra, Bravo, Delta, automated weather observation, 0, 9er.
There's 161 is okay. The module or the client that you open up to connect to the network, do you see a start button on there? Start menu, which will
Perfect.
show a drop down.
6 Celsius. Dew point.
Okay, click on the start menu, go down to where it says transponder, and it'll show another flyout menu, and hit no.
Kilo, Sierra, Bravo, Delta, automated weather observation, 0, 9er.
Alright, so it's automated weather observation. It's not ATIS, so we don't get an ATIS code.
Charlie Papa, vector to the localizer.
0 miles. Sky condition clear.
Okay, that's weird because it's ATIS on the sectional.
126, correction, 127.6.
Hey Scotty, welcome on board. Man, the scenery looks amazing. Well, I don't see much of it though.
There's 161 Juliet Whiskey. I think that did it. I didn't, please.
Okay, the needle is slowly creeping in, so that's good.
Epic 7 Charlie Papa, turn left heading 040.
Tracking that altitude, 11 nautical miles away
There's
from
161
Palmdale,
Juliet
so that's
Whiskey. You're
good.
probably going to have to do the same thing you did. Go to the start menu and hit IDIT on that under that menu. United 414.
Alex, you should integrate the elapsed time at your checklist. Yeah, I should, although I'm not even using the checklist anymore, which is also not a good thing. I know that you should always use the checklist, even though you're an experienced pilot. I'm not using it because I feel that it's fun to memorize it and go develop that flow.
Contact 17 miles southwest of Seal Beach VOR.
Still.
Contact approach 128.1.
Push on that nose. Tim, stick at 7,500. Come on.
Air 13084, maintain VFR if you need
Hey Nietzsche, welcome. Welcome on board.
Below 1,500. Leaving Los Angeles buffer airspace now. Contact Santa Monica Tower 120.1.
Push on that nose. Come on. Good. AGT is okay. Yep, there we are. And pull on that yoke again. Needle is creeping in on the nav 1. Good.
Saitek 54901 Mojave Tower. Enter right downwind runway 26 report midfield.
Okay, so we don't have any weather code of Bernardino. It's automated weather. That's weird.
Hotel Tango in my contact circle approach 135.4.
Contacting Sokol approach at 135.4 for Papa Italian Mike. Thank you for the donation, Alex. €5. Thank you. That's your third donation already. Thank you so much. The 13. Let me see. Come on, 135. Man, you're kind. Very much appreciated. For Rex Force 3D. Let's still fly inbound
wind 2105 over 20 radar kilo clear for takeoff.
To that needle. Alright, 135.4, Sokol approach. Level at 7,500. Okay. Sokol approach, Skyhawk Papa Hotel Tango Mike is level 7,500.
Roger. Or 7 Charlie Papa fly heading 060 on the runway 8
Stepped on.
Localizer. You are 1 mile from Skylex, maintain 4,000 until established. Cleared ILS, runway 8 approach.
Don't have a confirmation.
Yeah, 414, contact Sokol departure.
Did she remember me?
There's 161 Juliet Whiskey. If you haven't already, contact Sokol approach 128.1.
Needle almost in the center, nav 1. Nicely trimmed. Let me try again here. Sokol approach, Skyhawk Papa Hotel Tango Mike is level 7,600.
I heard someone on the ground with a, I think it was 3 November Delta, standby. Unit 414, Sokol departure, radar contact, climb maintain 13,000.
Nietzsche, I will answer your question soon.
Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, Sokol approach, Ontario altimeter 3006.
3006, Papa Hotel Mike. Nietzsche, what's like having a good chair? It must be magical. I saw the unboxing video, but I guess you really know what you think 6 months from now. Yeah, I guess so. It's a great chair. It's, I mean, even in the 5 minutes that I'm sitting there, what do we see in front of us? I see a mountain. Do you see, guys, this stuff?
Runway 26, clear to land, wind 21012.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
How did that happen? 7,500. We're flying at outbound radio 120. That should not.
8 Echo Sierra. Radar contact Sokol departure.
That's weird. It's good that I saw. Man. Okay. Rethink this.
Epic 707 Charlie Papa.
Making it 360 or.
Runway 8 clear to land.
Yeah, it's that mountain stuff to the south.
Go ahead.
So we need to go a little bit more north. What? 7,500. As you can see here to the south. Observatory there. I guess we're a little bit, we're on track on that highway, on that Victor Way. I don't get this, guys. But it's good that I saw we just flown right into a mountain in a comfortable chair. What the fuck?
Here's 161 Juliet Whiskey, radar contact lost. Or 443 November Delta, read back.
No airspace to the north while we're flying north. So that's good. And we are on flight following, so we can do whatever.
Skyline 108 Echo Sierra, SoCal departure, cancel altitude restriction.
It's 104. It's 104.
Contact Los Angeles Center 135.5.
Why did I mistake that for 120? Fuck. 104. We would be dead, guys. That's the one that I need to pick.
414 Los Angeles Center.
Thank you, Nukas.
Maintain flight level 230.
That's a big mistake.
Flying Van Nuys Tower, your cost line was blocked. Say again.
Oops, yeah, oops. Man, uncertified pilot,
Skype 13084 Van Nuys Tower.
So let's return to 7,500, needless creeping in.
Presently, or are you going to be able to make it to the field in VFR conditions?
Hello, nose down, thanks.
Skype 13084, thank you. Enter right downwind, runway 16 right for Portman Field.
Fucking hell. Oh, that's too much nose down. Yeah, tracking the wrong radial. Whoopsies. There we are, 7,500. Well, let's stick to this heading. Man, that's so sloppy. And why is that sloppy? How can I resolve, structurally resolve that issue? Well, I know. A nav log. That's what a nav log is for, navigation log. So when you make that turn, or when you transition from one leg to the next, you review your nav log and you see, hey, what heading do we need to fly? What are we going to do? And I was just chatting around. Okay, so that's something that I'm going to do in the future. So what I can do is just keep this log on, nav log. That's what it's there for. Palmdale to Hespe, 106. Okay, we're on that radial now. What's the
10 Echo.
22 nautical miles. Still some way to go.
Further clearance as the 2115. Time now 2051.
Man, we just flown into a mountain.
Maintain 3000.
Let me see. What is Alex saying? When you fly a day, you should put your nav VOR frequencies on standby mode. Turn off your DME to force you to use the clock and spot VFR reference. Yeah, that's a way to train. That's true. That's also why I'm flying slant alpha and not using a GPS here. That would also be a pretty obvious thing to use.
Mike, contact Joshua approach now 126.1.
126.1. Over to Joshua approach 126.1 for Papa Hotel Tango Mike.
Papa Hotel Tango Indy Mike, disregard, rooming nest frequency.
I will disregard Papa Hotel Tango Mike. I thought that the frequency was just where we went from. It's already set in the standby in COM 1. We already were at Joshua. So, yeah. Okay, a little bit to the right there. Flying Drill, have to go. Glad you didn't kill yourself, but you learned a valuable lesson. Thank you, Flying Drill, and thank you for your suggestions. Have a great day.
Clear to land, wind 1306.
Which reminds me of something that I discussed in one of the earlier episodes of this channel. I saw a post on fsim.com or some kind of flight simulation forum where some pilots were discussing what you should do when you crash in the flight sim. Even though it's a simulation, you could just restart the flight. But
United 414,
perhaps there's a more
Center,
educational,
Center
meaningful
Racing
way
Runway
to
340.
turn those crashes into more valuable memorable lessons. So were interesting suggestions there. Putting $10 into saving, for example. So paying yourself almost, or you're not allowed to fly for a month, or well, whatever. It's interesting. Yeah, Kimo, you're right, and I was looking outside. That's why. That's how I spotted the mountain. And also, not as an excuse, but I would expect flight following to say, "Pop Hotel doing your mic, are you aware that you're flying straight into a mountain?" But I guess they're only concerned with ADC and not with terrain. What is our DME saying? 28 nautical miles, so 10 nautical miles to go until we are at Hespe. As you can see, even though we're flying at 7,500 or 7,700, the terrain in AGL terms is not that far below. I guess we're flying at 2,000 AGL, perhaps lower. So perhaps in hindsight, I should have considered terrain a bit better. I should obviously have switched to the right radial, which I didn't. But also in terms of elevation terrain here, I would like to be much more high up, actually, AGL wise, because when we have an engine out, what are we going to do here? See some highways in the distance. That might be an indication that we're nearing Hespe. Confirms our
Call up your frequency change today again.
DME. Nietzsche. Also, you're right about flight following. I saw a recent ATC video transcript where a Cessna missed a turn, ended up flying into a mountain. ATC called the pilot about 20 times over 3 minutes. Yep. Well, perhaps that's worth a post on the PilotEdge forum post on the PilotEdge forums. See what Keith is saying about that, whether the controllers are also looking for terrain issues, whether even their radars give a signal like beep 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 beep, aircraft getting near terrain, or alright, 33 nautical miles. So what's up next? Well, what's up next? We need to make that turn to the south and follow that highway down south.
Currently passing
Get to Bernardino.
And just let me know when you want to continue.
Again, I see a highway over here. This is 4 nautical miles. I don't see any highways over there to the front, so perhaps my calculations were not exactly right. Let me check very quickly.
Sky 443 November Delta Bakersfield Tower, of course approved, 1603 from
35 nautical miles. Yeah, so I guess this might be the highway going there to the south, but I don't see it turning to the south. Let me make a small turn here just to see what is happening here. I can see some terrain, I can see some stuff over there. I'm gonna climb a bit. I don't trust this at all. Making a 360 to the left. I don't want to fly into the darkness in front of us. Doesn't make sense. Whoa, Tim, that's a bit too much.
It's going once already. Correction, Skyline 1 through 8 Echo Sierra contact so CliffEdge 135.4.
Maybe it's an unlit highway. Efficient chips? I hope it's not. Also, a important or relevant consideration during flight planning, especially when you're flying at night. Come on, not descending, climbing. And keeping that turn going, Tim. Come on. Yeah, it should be. We're now at 36 nautical miles. That must be that highway. Okay. So let's see when we finish our turn here to the left.
Skyline 108 Echo Sierra still kind of approach.
We can better see that highway going down south. Let's turn our heading indicator to 30. Right? That was Bernardino. No, it's 24. Preset that heading bug. Whoa, we're going down too fast. Come on. Yeah, here goes the highway. Alright. Still I can see some textures in front of me. So mixture full in. Or perhaps not really full in. I would like to have a full climb setting here. Keep that highway to the left. Yeah, you can see the terrain here. Come on, climb, Tim. I mean, if this is already a preview of my I ratings that are coming up, then that's going to be quite a challenge, guys. Flying on instruments while doing ADC. But I guess then you would be already assigned to particular headings and altitudes by ADC, so you don't need to think on your own, other than confirming what is happening. So this is actually a bit more challenging, I guess. So I'm flying southwest, which is good. No, come on, climb. Also, I'm feeling a bit disorientated. It feels like my nose is very much high up. I guess because of these lights over there. But it's not. I'm just...
443 November Delta. Contact Bakersfield departure.
We're level. Very weird. It seems like I'm in a very steep climbing setting. So it's actually a phenomenon that is quite real for flying. Come on. See some roads over there. Come on, keep on altitude. Fuck, it's dark.
443 November Delta Bakersfield departure. Meeting contact.
See some lights over there. Yeah, we really need to go south, especially a little bit more southeast. That confirms with the roads over here. I can see some terrain. Not going down. I need to stay level or go up. Good. All right. You can see a highway over there, and that's the same highway that we're following right now here. Good. 8,000. Stick to 8,000. It's good. Oh, stay straight and level. Already turning on my landing lights. So as you can see here, a highway splits into two. Let's have a look here. Yep.
United 414.
Highway splitting into two. Confirms. But we need to stick to the left one. And that goes all the way to Bernardino. Hoping to see those airport lights. Means that we can also start our descent. Gradually. do see some terrain here very vaguely. I don't know if you guys can see in the video. Very spooky stuff. Isn't 8000 IFR level? You're right, US Sun. But I guess in terms of safety here, I needed to make sure that I was clear of the terrain. And also, those cruising altitudes are only applicable 3,000 feet above AGL. Because we're that near to the terrain, they didn't... Whoa, that's too much nose down, I guess. That wasn't a concern. So you can see that split of the highway to the right. Flying an easterly direction, which confirms the charts. So I guess we're now flying this particular leg, 114. Well, that's okay. Okay. We still have some way to go. I don't see Bernardino just yet.
414, maintain flight level 320. GAG 13084, Van Nuys clearance, departure frequency.
Looking at the point where I need to contact tower, and I can see that here on the map, you can see here this particular crossing or intersection that's at the edge of the airspace, and I can see that stuff going on over there. And there's a bend here in the road. Yep. So the airport should be over there.
10, right?
Somewhere over there. There are some lights over there. That might also be Bernardino. I think it is. Or it's over there, that crossing. Man, and this makes VFR flying so difficult. Yeah, there are the mountains you can see.
Hotel Tango Andy Mike San Bernardino Airport, 1 o'clock in 9 miles, reporting site.
9 o'clock, or 1 o'clock. Oh, we're still looking, Hotel Tango, we're flying at night. Give us a sec. I think it's over there, right?
Skyline Corsair traffic 1 to 2 o'clock and 6.5 miles southeastbound altitude.
This, I guess, this is the
looks about
that intersection.
4,800 is Skyhawk.
Traffic in sight, no factor.
Yep, that is it. You can see there's a I don't know if you guys can see, but here's a spacing in between all those highways, and that confirms what we see over there. So the airport would be somewhere over there, and what we see to the right there might be no, it's not Ontario. Man, this is hard. Where is the airport? Yeah, it should be over there. To the right, 1 runway, aligned 2-4. It's too much nose down. 2-4. It's like this. Yep, that makes sense. Joshua, where are we? Joshua approach? Were we on Joshua approach? Sokol approach. Sokol approach. Skyhawk Papa Hotel Tango Mike has the airport inside at our 3 o'clock. So keeping here, because we don't have any contact with the tower, we're not allowed to fly in. We've got terrain to the left. Let's sign in one more time.
So wait for, you're about to cross the intersection for golf, but you're currently on Alpha, where you should be.
Where is the airport? I don't see the blinking anymore.
Hotel Tango India Mike Squawk V4 contact San Bernardino Tower 119.45.
Squawking VFR, and we'll contact tower 119.45. Papa Delta India Mike. Alright, VFR.
Greg 10 Echo, if you'd like to leave the hold earlier, just let me know.
There we are. 119.4.
Greg 10 Echo, Roger, how early?
Come on, Tim. Whoa.
Or like, what would you like to do?
119.45. Okay. It's making that turn. San Bernardino Tower, Skyhawk Papa Hotel Tango India Mike is 5 miles north of the airport at 3,500 inbound for full stop. We have the weather.
Papa Hotel Tango India Mike San Bernardino Tower, enter left base, runway 6, clear to land, wind 2403.
Left base, runway 6, clear to land for Papa Hotel Tango India Mike. Man, this is hard. It was hard. Flying at night, VFR. Also had to do with my inexperience, I guess, but man. Alright. 6. Set the heading bug. There we are at 6. And then it's left base. Okay, makes sense. Got some traffic at our 10 o'clock over there. So what we're going to do is fly here, then left base, and then land. Okie doke. Mixture full in, landing lights are on, strobe lights are on, good. We already set the tower, we can set ground. Do I have ground in the ready? No, I haven't. KSBD. Search. Thank you. San Bernardino is 121.8. 121. 121.
Skunk 10 Echo, do you want to shoot the VOR runway 30 approach again, right?
121.8. Alright, there we go. So set the ground frequency.
Depart pattern heading 030 enable direct to Seal Beach.
We're not going to enter downwind here. Got clearance to enter left base, so let's do that. Regulate our speed.
Wyman Tower, Cessna 19688, 3,200 feet and descending Newhall Pass.
Seems like we're already on traffic pattern altitude, which was at 1900. No, should 1,000 feet lower? Doesn't make sense. I'm not going to do that.
19688 Whiteman Tower, weak straight over runway 12, report 3 mile final.
1,000 feet lower? No. Altimeter was right. Okay.
Van Nuys Tower, Skyhawk, November 13084, holding shorter runway 06,
06 left base. There we go.
13084, runway, correction, Van Nuys
go
Tower,
lower.
120 at 6, runway 16, right, clear for takeoff.
Runway 16 right, clear for takeoff, 084.
Oh no. Whoa, whoa, that's a wrong turn. I'm getting confused here, guys. Man. 6 is on the other side. This is now the downwind turn. Then we make a... but now we're on the left base. So that is 06 is going that direction. That doesn't make sense, right? So I shouldn't fly the other side of the airport and then land. I should have flown over that side and then do this. So now I'm on the right base. That's a mistake. Anyhow, let's reduce speed to 100 knots and just make this a safe landing. 100 knots, 1 notch of flaps. Okay. Keep that nose down. Trimming down.
Victorville Tower, Skyline 10 Echo Sierra, 10 miles south, inbound, full stop.
Good. Making the turn. Yep, you're right, Nietzsche. So I messed up.
Correction. Victorville Tower.
Should be on the other
interrupt
side.
1 report midfield.
One notch of flaps there.
Left downwind for 2-1, report midfield.
Where's the runway? There's the runway. I should have entered on the other side, on the north side. And that makes sense because I was on the north side, right? There we are. Good speed. And I think I made that mistake, but I will review that soon. We're too high up. Come on. Speed away. There we go. Because I mistaken that other runway. But are we at the airport here? Bernardino has only one runway, right? That's weird. Am I landing on the wrong airport, guys? No, 6. I don't see another runway depicted on the airport diagram. I hadn't. I didn't have to report left base there. The controller assigned us on our on a custom, you could say, entry point. 60. Nose up, nose up, nose up, nose up, nose up, nose up, nose up. Oh, that's a little bit too late of a flare. Not too bad though, but flaps up. All right.
Wyman Tower, Cessna 19 688 3 mile final.
It seems like a wrong airport, right? It does. But I did see on the taxi diagram another airport.
10688.
Oh,
Runway 12, clear to land 11005.
Clear land 12688.
Let me check.
084, contact SoCal.
That's going to be interesting.
River departure 04.
Threshold line. There we are. Let's park. Let's reset to 1,000. Ground. Alright. TrackIR off. Parking brakes. Set. Where the freaking hell are we?
November Delta,
Man.
4.55 Joshua approach.
Yeah. Taxi diagram. Well, run one way, right? 6 and 2-4. But as you can see, there are 2 X's on that other side. Is that the other runway then?
Skek 10 Echo. Cross Silvage.
I mean, it's not depicted over there.
DOR runway 30 approach.
No, we're landed over here. We're landed on the riverside, I think. Man, fuck! We landed on riverside, guys. I landed on riverside.
Skek 13084 SoCal.
So what did I do wrong? I was flying over here. On the north side over there.
084, remain outside Los Angeles.
Made that turn.
Report north of the Sepulveda
Saw that blimping light and I thought that was the airport, but it was over there. And I only saw one runway until we were very near. And then I saw the second run. Then I saw the second run. I thought, well, that's weird. And at that point, I guess I should have contacted the tower just to make sure that I was heading to the right airport. But I'm curious to see on the video, though, when we review the video, to see if I can spot Bernardino anyway. Man. No, it's not Rialto Airport, isn't it? I think it's Riverside.
San Luis Tower Mall, 925 Zulu, radio check.
It's not March?
November Delta, Josh approach, Palmdale altimeter.
No, I think it's Riverside.
3005.
But we'll contact Tower and sign off and park over here and let them know that we did wrong. I'm going to shame the shame announcement.
Victorville Tower, Skyline 10 Echo Sierra, midfield, runway 21, full stop.
Yeah, Kimo, what is it? Am I on Rialto or on Riverside?
Wind calm.
Clear to land 2-1, A2 Sierra, thank you.
Need to make sure exactly where I am, so before I make that announcement. Well, it must be Riverside. Rialto closed airport. Where is Rialto then? Redlands? Chino? I'm not seeing it.
Cessna 196
can I check otherwise? Let me go to the PilotEdge network anyway. Airport with a cross-through.
13084. Maintain VFR at below 5,000 for now because 5,000 is the beginning of the shelf.
PA aware, does that work? No, let's go just to the home
just
page.
north of the lateral boundary of the Los Angeles Bravo airspace, so you'll need to turn back north to get north of the pass and then climb to 5,500 and then just report north of the Subafita Pass.
Pop Hotel Tango and Mike. Where is that fucker? He's over there. Please load, please load.
Sky 084 affirmative.
Load. Can I just zoom in like this, or doesn't that work?
19680. Text clear runway 12 at Delta. Would like to taxi back to Vista.
Yeah, so we're just below the Charlie airspace. We're very near Ontario. Okay, now let's go to the map of ForeFlight. Man! Ah! Let me see. It's that airport, the cross-through. It's over there. Is that the one that you meant, Kimo?
SLC Advantage?
I guess so. That's the only one with a cross-through. This is Flabob. That's not it. Yeah, it must be that one. Alright.
United 414, thank you.
That's weird. I should have seen San Bernardino International Airport from that distance, that big of an airport.
Wyman Cessna 19688, clear runway 12 at Delta. Would like to taxi back to Vista.
For sure, that's the one. Okay, Kimo, thank you for finding out. What am I going to do? It doesn't make a lot of sense, I guess, to talk with PilotEdge anymore, because we're in a totally different airport. So what I could just do, well, I should sign off. I will, because they perhaps expecting me or whatever. It's been a long time, but I should. 119.45. That was still the Tower of Bernardino.
United 414 NorCal approach San Francisco altimeter 3010. Expect ILS runway 28 left approach.
San Bernardino Tower, Skypop Hotel Tango Mike. We totally misjudged the airport and landed on some other closed airport nearby, so we're signing off.
Roger.
Roger. That's the most shameful Roger that I've ever heard. All right, Roger. So, landing lights off. Taxi lights on. Parking brakes released. There we go. We're at a closed airport. But what does surprise me, though, even though it's a closed airport, it doesn't seem close to me at all here. It's a very big airport. I mean, for a closed airport, it's, well, not that closed. let's go over this side. Let me see if I can make this turn. No, that's not a great spot here. Those are jets. Let's go to the right here. Taxi on that other side. Nice people flow.
November 108 Echo Sierra taxi to Rock via Charlotte. This frequency.
There we go.
Charlie to parking. Thanks very much.
Some tents. Okay. Some hangar kind of.
Sky 3 November Delta, contact Mojave
It's
Tower.
nice scenery though.
7.6.
Going to the right here. All right, so let's make a turn here. A U-turn. Park over here.
Mojave Tower, Skyhawk.
There we go. Left brakes. Bang. There we are. Parking brake set. Let's disappear from the radar forever. The avionics off. Now first the lights off, because otherwise I don't know. Or what I should rather do is... Oh, those lights are still on. That's weird. Panel lights. Those are the panel lights, right? Oh, that's another kind of light. Okay. Off, 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 off. Off, 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 off. Yep. Then the lights off, taxi lights off, strobe lights should already been off. Nav lights off, cut off. There we are. Magneto switch off. Alternate generator off. The doors open. Control wheel lock set. Let's set the pitot tube cover and the wheel chocks. And there we are on the wrong airport. Guys! Alright, Nietzsche, because the scenery obviously doesn't know it's closed. No, yeah, I guess that's it, but still. If it's that a recent close, that makes sense, but still. I guess it's also part of the whole flight briefing stuff that those very minor circles with a cross through it is actually quite relevant, because there might be an entire airport there, apparently, that you're not expecting. Right, so I wasn't expecting any other airport other than Bernardino, but they're right near my leg here. Well, let me close PilotEdge.
Spec 3 November Delta runway 26 clear to land.
Boom. There was that closed airport, and that really messed me up. My gosh. So, how could I have resolved this particular issue? Well, again, at night, it's easy to miss out on a lot of visual reference points. So I perhaps should use radio navigation, right? So what I could have done, like I did with the Cat 1 rating, is use the Paradise VOR, for example, here to the south, an outbound radial, for example. Well, what could have we done? Like this. So a inbound 210 heading, while we were flying this outbound radial or flying this highway, and then when we got that needle centered, we knew that we were right before San Bernardino, and yeah, that would have helped me, I guess. Still, though, while I was flying, and I know that I was flying around this spot here, around this area, then San Bernardino would be around 4 nautical miles near. So it kind of surprised me also in hindsight that I didn't see San Bernardino from that distance. Or I think I was there, but I was actually over there and then mistaken at airport. Really curious to review the video, but man, did I mess up there. Again, flight following should have tracked me, I guess. And I did say that I saw San Bernardino at my 3 o'clock. I especially said that just to confirm, because if then the air traffic controllers would see me on the radar and infer what airport I was looking for, then they might say, no, that's not on your 3 o'clock. It's currently on your whatever o'clock. Hey Norbert, welcome on board, and Majicon, welcome. You can get A2A the Cessna 172 for Steam. Yep, you can. I think I can. I don't know for sure if it's also on Steam, but I think so. Oh yeah, Kimo already confirms. Yeah, again, I would expect Flight Following there to correct me, but still it was my responsibility. And also in context of my training, I should have found San Bernardino without any problems. A very big mess up. I guess my first here on PilotEdge. Oh, so shameful. Anyway, I think I should have used radio navigation here to get to San Bernardino in time. Rather than just flying visually. It was so dark. Again, on nighttime, I mean, you think you have a VOR and you can fly some inbound radial and outbound radial, but to me, it felt so much more like IFR. And I guess also taking into consideration city lights. Looking at this particular leg here, this would be completely in the dark. And that is not a really proper VFR lag, right? So in hindsight, I should have not made this particular flight. Perhaps I should have, if I would really like to go to San Bernardino, yeah, perhaps even fly through the LA area, but that's a very congested area anyhow. Well, I don't know what else I could do actually to fly to other cities, because there are no cities in between this particular space. So again, this is not a very good VFR leg, I guess, because we were completely in the dark. Still, I was just flying that outbound radial. I totally missed out on the right one. I was flying 120. I should actually have flown 104. Big mess up, just so sloppy. And then at the end of the Hespe, making that southbound turn, I was following the highway, but somehow I didn't see the entire highway, so just a part of it, which was also confusing. And again, I should be more aware of the terrain at 5,000 feet. You can see here on MSL, I was flying at 7,000, but I could already see the terrain. I saw some textures in the distance, so that scared me. So I thought, well, let's climb to 8,000. But again, looking here at the charts, that's not a that should not have been a concern, I guess. Maybe that is the mistake. No. I'm pretty sure that I was at Hespe there at 37 nautical miles. Nietzsche, I obviously missed something on the lineup approach, but were you told to fly a left pattern at the airport for runway 6? Yeah, a left base, Nietzsche. I didn't hear either way. I was updating some software and reading in the background. Bad me, bad. No, Nietzsche, I was assigned a left base for San Bernardino, which makes sense if I was flying over there. I mean, there's Bernardino, so a left base. That makes sense with our track, right? I messed up so bad. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Yeah. Now I'm sure that I was spot on with Hespe. Then south, unfortunately, the highways weren't lit, so that was a problem. And then I was completely VFR in the dark. I didn't have any instrument radio navigation there, which was not smart. Although I would expect to see many more city lights here. I did at some point, but still figuring out what highway was what and where to locate San Bernardino was quite difficult. I would expect to see San Bernardino already here on this part of my leg, but I didn't see it. But again, I need to review that video to make sure. All right, guys, that's the episode 49 with a big navigational, several big mistakes. First one was that inbound lag, and other so this that radial flying, just mistaken that radial 104 for 120, and then finally near the destination airport landed on the wrong one. This is a symbol that I will never forget to look at a sectional, because there might be an entire airport there. Yeah, that should be a part of your considerations when doing your approach or departure. The same thing is true, by the way, if I'm right, looking at John Wayne. Yeah, it's also confused me. So at John Wayne, you can see here, there's another symbol over there. I don't know what the airport is called. But at one time in one previous episodes, I was flying from Palm Springs to John Wayne, and I was flying over here expecting John Wayne to be there, and I saw an airport. And I thought, and it had many runways, and it totally messed me up. I thought, is that John Wayne? And where's that airport? Then I see other, might I be flying over there or over into the south? Or yeah, so that symbol is something that I will never overlook again. It means a closed airport, and it might have several runways, and especially at night it lights up, and it might distract you big time. Okay, well guys, that completes episode 49. Episode 50, I guess I need to go all the way from this closed airport to San Bernardino, which I'm still going to do because it's necessary to get to San Bernardino anyway. I need to learn from my mistakes here. So I guess I can just take off without any departure clearance or whatsoever, just doing that on a non-towered, in a non-towered protocol kind of way, I guess, and then go to San Bernardino and then start my Cat 7 rating. But I do need to freshen up a bit, because these are sloppy mistakes, and especially during this progress of my flight training, that part should really be history, right? I should not make these kinds of mistakes anymore. So yeah, I'm very curious to review that video to see what specifically went wrong with that approach. All right, guys. So thank you so much for jumping on board, helping me along this flight. I learned several interesting things from you. For example, setting your Morse code ident audio setting on your VOR if you're not getting a reading from your VOR yet, so that when as soon as you get a signal, you immediately hear the Morse sound. A very good one. Also read a few other suggestions that I will remember. Thank you so much, and hoping to see you on the next episode, episode 50 of the Uncertified Pilot, when we're going to fly to San Bernardino in preparation of our Cat 7 rating. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this walk of shame, this flight of shame, and I will freshen up, I guess, and then prepare to go to bed because I'm quite tired. Hoping to see you next time, guys. Happy flights and blue skies. Bye.
Welcome to the Uncertified Pilot. I'm Tim, and this is my flight simulator.